Hi everyone, welcome back to Enlightened Learning. So we're gonna teach you guys about how to do pre-algebra, simple algebra, and it's just basic what mixed numbers are, and learning good fractions and how we can add variables. So don't worry, I know you guys are all wondering, wait, math has letters now? Don't worry. So by the end of this lesson, you'll understand what variables are and how to do small equations. So first things first, what is pre-algebra? Pre-algebra is the bridge between basic math and algebra. It's where you take all the math you already know, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, and adding new variables and numbers we don't know yet. We can call these unknown numbers variables. We use letters like X, Y, or N. It's all of the alphabet. You can use any letter or any number into an equation. So if I say X plus 3 equals 7. We don't know what this X is, but we know what 3 and 7 are. So that's what we're gonna talk about, like how do we find this X number out? So then, so what are they? So we're gonna go deep into order of operations. I'm pretty sure you guys have learned what PEMDAS is. If not, I'll explain it. Which PEMDAS is where you use parentheses and exponents, multiply, divide, and addition and subtraction. So it's going to look something like this. So P represents parentheses, E represents exponents, M represents multiply, D represents divide, A represents addition, and S represents subtraction. So this is the order you always have to go. You always start from parentheses. If in algebra, pre-algebra, you're gonna learn how to use this correctly, PEMDAS. So you always start with parentheses. You always go X plus 3 and plus 7, right? If it's like that, you always add these two numbers first. But you don't know what X is, so we'll go deeper into solving how to solve these. But that's just an example. If you want to find out how to get X or Y, you have to first do the order that it goes from parenthesis, exponent, multiply, divide, addition, and subtraction. You always go left to right. So let's solve a few problems with this new PEMDAS that we just learned, right? And PEMDAS can be applied for later algebra that we haven't learned. We're just doing basic algebra right now. So let's see. This is an example basic problem. So 3 divided by 6 times 2. So in PEMDAS, right, we're gonna put this PEMDAS here. Okay, in PEMDAS, M is always before D. And that means that multiply is always before divide. So you always do this equation first since it's multiply, right? So that equals 12 divided by 3. So that's going to be 4. If you do theoretically, it's going to be like a fractional number because 3 is divided by, fractions. It's going to be a fraction technically, but we're just going to count it as 12 first divided by 3. So Yeah, you might say it's left to right,
What?
then you go that, but that's wrong.
Bracket. Double. So that
So let's erase this. Okay, so now let's do another one. So if we were to say that 15 times 2 divided by 3. Okay, so I want you guys to solve this real quick. I'll give you PEMDAS over here.
shot. I didn't need any cut. Then.
Okay. So, what number you should get is, you should get 10. Why? It's because you do this first, you multiply this, which equals to 30. Then you take this 3, bring it down, divide it by 3, and you get 10.
You know what? Like that.
Okay?
Not fine. Okay.
Alright, let's draw the next diagrams. Okay, so just remember to always use PEMDAS. That's your vocabulary to remember for this pre-algebra. That's the main thing that you should always remember. PEMDAS. So now let's combine these like terms. So we don't, whenever in an equation, wow, tongue twister, you don't know what x is. We're just gonna say that as our variable. You never know what x is. It could be a fraction or a like a number, real number, right? It could be a negative number, anything. So let's start with, so if we get like 3x plus 5x equals 16, right? Well, we don't know what x is, and we don't know how to solve this. So first of all, there's something called combining like terms. Okay, so what is combining like terms? Combining like terms is basically where numbers, so numbers meaning fractions or real numbers, right? Those are numbers. So this is a number and this is a number. We're going to use different color for this one. So then there's another one. These are called constants, all right? And these are what goes before the x. So see how they're before the x? The x is over here, or the variable. And then the x is always the variable.
Brilliant.
So x is always the variable. There's constants and variables. Teachers might call it a different name, but I'm just using variables just for now. This is called a variable, all right? And when you want to combine these, right? So if there's the same variable, x plus y equals 16, this does not work because these are not the same variables. These are different variables. X and y are different variables. So it would not combine. When you want to combine variables, it's going to be the same variable from here to here. It has to be the same variable if you want to combine. So when we combine this, it's going to be 8x equals 16. So now, what do we do after this? Well, I'm going to erase the board real quick.
Sure.
And it's called one but like the quantity happening.
So now, how do we solve it? For 8x equals 16, how do we solve this? So, if you're wondering. So we can solve this by doing 8x equals 16, and since this 8 is multiplied with x. It's not added with, if it's added with x, then it would be a different story. But if it was multiplied, we divide 8 on both sides, leaving x as 2. That's the same thing as saying 8 divided by x. I'll show you guys. Give me a second. If I clear this board. So it's the same as saying 8 divided by x equals 16. So for this one, you can multiply by 8 because the opposite of whatever this operation is, it's always going to be, to cancel out the 8 here, you have to do the opposite of whatever this operation is. So the operation that we're using here, it's going to be divided, right? So we're multiplying by both sides, not one side, both sides. And that's gonna leave x as, what's 16 times 8? We get 16 times 8 is 128. So then x equals 128. If it's added, that's another story. See, x plus 8, right? X plus 8 plus x, same thing, x plus 8 equals 16. So the opposite of this operation is subtraction. So it's going to be negative 8x minus 8 minus 8. We leave x here, all right? It's going to leave us with x equals 8. That's the solution for this one. Okay, for the next problem, I would like you guys to do one on your own. It's going to have some parentheses. Don't freak out. It's going to look weird. So it's going to be, you're going to have to use PEMDAS and what I just taught you with like terms. I'll give you guys PEMDAS right here. Okay, so if you're wondering what the solution is, so using the knowledge that we know, P stands for parenthesis, so we always do the parenthesis first. So 2 plus 8 equals 10, and we bring the x down, and equals to 30. So now, what's the opposite of this operation? The opposite would be minus 10 minus 10. And that leaves us with x equals 20. That would be the solution. Okay, I'm confident that you guys know this now, right? And now, the golden rule of this would be, you do this one side of this. If you do something to one side, you always have to do the other side. If you divide it by something on this side, you divide it by this too. And let's clear the board. Okay, let's do a few real world word problems. Okay, so if you're trying to split a bill with your friends, right? You went to a restaurant, and you wanted to split the bill. So your bill came out to $100, right? And dollar sign goes in front, right? And so $100, okay? And you have 4 friends, and you don't know how much to split it. So we can say, since we don't know how much we split it by, we can call that X. And there's 4 friends, so we multiply these. So 4x equals the total, which is 100, and we divide both sides because the operation that we're using here would be multiplying, right? 4 by 4, x equals 20.
Which is finally put
5,
And we know that's in big one. The other me, I don't know that. You happy? No. And one thing,
so the end number would be 25.
what was it?
Oops,
Now they know that we don't know.
25.
Didn't get in that.
So, in a real world problem, right? Whenever you come across that, you always take your unknown number. That would always be your x. But, oh, how do I know which number do I combine with the number that this number, right? Because we don't know, oh, there's 4 friends, and we don't know, do I combine it with the 100x, or do I combine it with the 4x? You always take the total of something would never be the answer. So, let's say you take another real world problem. You're trying to buy something at a grocery store, and you're trying to buy something at a grocery store, and your bill comes out to $80. Alright, that's your total. But you're splitting it with 2 friends, so you and another friend, right? So you have 2 people that are technically buying this, alright? And you don't know how much to split it by, okay? And you're being asked, how much does each friend have to split it by? So you have to do 2x equals 80 divided by 2, because the operation here is multiply. X equals 40. So each person has to pay $40 for their side of their paycheck. So what we covered today were basically order of operations, talking about PEMDAS and how to first do the PEMDAS stuff. And then we also combined like terms and shown how to combine them and add them. And then we also did some simple equations, teaching you guys how to do these. And then we did some real world problems.